welcome to Expert Advice. Today I have with me architect, interior designer and landscaper Mr. Olivier Vecchierini. Let us first welcome our very special guest for the day. Hello sir, welcome to the show and welcome to India.
Thank you so much, Pooja.
I would like to ask you, you have been in India for a project. So could you update our viewers about the project that you've been, having in India?
The Kanakya BKC project we are doing is located in the core of Mumbai city. It is a commercial hub and it's a very premium location. And I've been approached to be part of this team and to work on this project and to use my experience as a French designer.
Okay.
I'm from Paris and the theme of this project is Leave Paris.
Okay.
So we've tried to provide for all the elite working class working in BKC and also for other people if they wish, a new residential complex using all the facility of a modern building, but also with the look and feel of a Paris ambience.
So how have you included, the French architecture, Parisian influence in this project?
Parisian influence, we wanted to use one of the most iconic buildings of Paris and monuments that we were using, like the Eiffel Tower, like the Arc de Triomphe. We've used some elements like the obelisk of Place de la Concorde, different elements very renowned in Paris, and we use them in a Parisian garden, a replica of the Jardin du Luxembourg, which is Luxembourg Garden, a famous place located in the heart of Paris also.
Okay. So moving on, I would like to ask you, if as a layman, I want to know about French architecture. So could you highlight some important aspects and features of French architecture?
French architecture, I would say, we are always remembering our history. And the French architecture, even nowadays, is using all the code and all the proportion and dimension of the classical architecture, which has been developed at the time of the Second Empire, during the time of the Emperor Napoleon III, with one architect and engineer called Baron Haussmann, who has created the new face of Paris. And this is what today you will find in our Kanakya BKC project, using the code of the facade, which is the one we are getting for this upcoming project, will be an Haussmannian kind of a facade. We are using all the large avenue and the look and feel of that period only. It's Haussmannian style.
Okay. So we have been knowing Paris as a city of heritage, historical influences, a lot of historical influences are seen in Paris. So any structures or buildings in Paris, that epitomize French architecture?
For everybody, I can tell you Eiffel Tower for sure. The Eiffel Tower, was supposed to be a temporary structure. It has been created during the Great Exhibition of 1889, and it was just to show the new technical at that time, a steel monument, and it was supposed to be dismantled just after the exhibition. But I want to come back to your question with the architecture, I would say the Castle of the Louvre, which is in the center of the city, and all the dimension, the proportion, the color of the stone has been used century after century, remembering the Louvre, which is one of the oldest buildings in Paris, using the same arches, the moldings, and the statue, and all the element of the decorative element, cornices of the facade, that you can find also the 2-3 century after that at the time of Haussmann. And relative to our project also, this is what we are bringing, all the essence of historical architecture in our Mumbai project.
Now moving on to the next question, France's history is quite popular. We all know about French Revolution. So such historical events that we have seen in France, do they influence architecture of France?
They have, for sure. Some particular sad events sometime, like if you start even at the end of the Middle Age, all the buildings were in wood. And because of a big fire, the king at that time decided to remove all the wooden building and to start using fireproof material like stone.
Okay.
And they have started also having larger streets and way for people to escape in case of fire. In fact, the first architectural revolution was at that time, where the face of Paris has changed dramatically from wooden with the small building to more Parisian with wider ways and streets. After that, you come till the 19th century, again with this Baron Haussmann, who has given the shape and the face of Paris of today's, with large avenues, Champs-Élysées, all these big places where you are having La Concorde, Arc de Triomphe, and all these big avenues are coming from that period. And also after the exhibition, the great exhibition I was telling you before, all the city of Paris has been lit during the night with street light, and the city became immediately safer.
Okay.
And it gave a lot of energy to the city, and it becomes a real plus for the city.
Okay, so these were the historical influences. So does religion have any influence on French architecture, or for that matter Parisian architecture?
The influence of religion is restricted to the religious building.
Okay.
You can find plenty of beautiful churches from Roman to Gothic style. You have Notre Dame de Paris, with our only unique cathedral in the island of La Cité in Paris, but it's only restricted to religious building.
Time for a really short break. We will keep you updated about the French architecture in the next segment. Stay tuned. So talking about the contemporary and modern design, modern approach in architecture these days. So do French architects, or for that matter you, follow any kind of contemporary design or any modern sense of architecture for your designing purpose?
For sure, we try to live with our time and with the design of nowadays.
Welcome back. We are speaking with Mr. Olivier Vecchierini, who is talking about his current project in Mumbai, French architecture and smart cities. Let's continue this conversation with him. So talking about the contemporary and modern design, modern approach in architecture these days. So do French architects, or for that matter you, follow any kind of contemporary design or any modern sense of architecture?
For sure, we try to live with our time and with the design of nowadays, but keeping in mind that we had some code, and with all the knowledge of our history in terms of architecture, the way of our predecessors were composing the facade, planning each and everything, we use those knowledge.
So we were mentioning about some codes that you need to follow as an architect in Paris. So what are these codes?
Codes are all in terms of composition, symmetry, kind of all the elements you have to use, and the element you find in all the building. Actually, there is one new rules which is not pleasant for all architects, because it's restricting you a little bit in your creativity, but you have to keep the facade of all the building. Like that, you are not changing the way and the facade of Paris. So you keep the facade, you demolish the entire building at the back,
okay,
and then you recreate the new slab, a new concrete slab, and you can provide all the modern facility, keeping the shell of a Haussmannian building and of a heritage building. And you have no changes. You have the feeling that you are coming in the flamboyant period of Second Empire. But of course, now you are getting all facilities, all kitchen, bathroom equipment, everything that was not available at that time.
Okay, so I think that's a very good way of preserving our history and culture. Now, on this note, I would like to ask you, how do we maintain a balance between our historic design and the contemporary design sense of architecture?
Actually, being a modern architect doesn't mean that you are forgetting the past. If you want to provide a good architecture, but also a good interior or a good landscape, you need to know all the code, the proportion, the composition. It's all a matter of composition for all the different segments, interior design, architecture, even urban planning. You need to compose your project, and by the use of different material, you can understand that you are in the 21st century or in the 19th, but it's always a matter of proportion and composition.
Okay, sir. So you are doing a project in Mumbai. Now, when we think of Mumbai, only one thing that comes to mind is space crunch. And Mumbai is a place where you come across scarcity of land. So how do you overcome that in your project?
Project to project, it's slightly different, but for these Kanakia BKC projects, even if we had a confined location for the garden, we are trying to and will get a beautiful experience of Paris. Even in 2-acre land, we'll find all the elements to give you the proper look and feel of Paris city.
My major question will be like, we are seeing this Eiffel Tower here. So could we see a life-size Eiffel Tower in the BKC project?
Actually, it won't be life size, but it will be a 12 meter, which is already in that area a very prominent and beautiful size. And all the building like Arc de Triomphe and the obelisk will be also a very decent size, and you will experience immediately the Parisian way of discovering.
Okay. In Paris, we generally see a horizontal kind of development, or the architecture is of the horizontal sense. So herein you'll be having the challenge of bringing it in vertical sense. So like, how did you do that?
Of course, we have to compromise from country to country. It's not exactly the same in Paris. As you know, we are not allowed to cast more than ground plus 6 in order to have the same height for all the center of Paris. Only the skyscraper are coming out or in the suburb.
Okay.
Here you need to have more vertical city, but we will still find after the podium level on the 10 first floor, you will see at the eyes view all the code of a Parisian building, using your cast iron balconies with drooping flowers, using molding cornices, and that will give you at the eye level the real feel of a Parisian and Haussmannian building.
So you mentioned that all these skyscrapers are coming in suburbs, not in Paris itself. So what is the reason for that?
It's a political decision, only just to keep Paris as it is, to keep as a shell, a heritage shell.
So could you tell us about the main features, the highlights of the project that you are having in BKC, this Live Paris, what are the main features actually?
Actually, we wanted to give, of course, to show iconic building, but also to provide to the future resident of this new project, we wanted to give them a little bit of the way of life of a Parisian.
Okay.
Providing them a celebrity gym or a famous spa and beauty parlor, providing them the cafe, typical cafe where people enjoy to sit outside and after the work, relax, having their coffee, their glass of wine, enjoying the late evening chatting, and otherwise you will also provide different facility like a musical kiosk where people during the day at some particular time will have live music. And that's a little bit of experience people will get and experience in this garden and also all around. You will have at the ground floor level shopping arcade, remembering the Champs-Élysées, all over with the luxury brand, all over the building. So you have a little bit of Paris as a fashion hub, a little bit of Paris as a fashion cuisine, a place where people having good delicacy. So this kind of thing, not only architectural and monuments are here, but also a little bit of a Parisian life.
Time for a really short break. We will keep you updated about the French architecture in the next segment. Stay tuned. So all of us know that Paris is the fashion capital. So does fashion impact the kind of architectural or the design sense in France?
I mean, it's very true that Paris is a fashion hub, but as you know, fashion keeps changing season after season, and what we do as an architect.
Welcome back. We are speaking with Mr. Olivier Vecchierini, who is talking about his current project in Mumbai, French architecture and smart cities. Let's continue this conversation with him. Okay, so luxury living, Parisian way.
Absolutely.
So all of us know that Paris is the fashion capital. So does fashion impact the kind of architectural or the design sense in France?
I mean, it's very true that Paris is a fashion hub, but as you know, fashion keeps changing season after season, and what we do as an architect has to be a perennial. We cannot change all the time. So
Correct.
It's not influencing. It's we have a solid core, which is the shell for the fashion to be developed and to be all the time regenerated into fashion show after fashion show.
So moving on to the next question, you know, smart cities are much talked about these days. So my question to you, like being a common man, I would like to ask you, what is actually a smart city?
If we don't want to come too much into detail, smart city for me, and this is what we are going to provide for the Kanakia BKC project, it's provide facility like Wi-Fi all around, to provide smart car parking, to have energy less, to have economic light also, and that's a very important, and there is a lot of demand. People nowadays want to have green and smart building, and that's also the target we are focusing for our project in BKC.
Okay, sir. Now I would like to ask you, being a Parisian, what is your opinion about the Indian architecture?
It's when you live in India and when you come like me very often in India, it's really fascinating to see in the same city some Mughal building close to some Victorian or Lutyens time building, and very close to a very modern and contemporary architecture. I really appreciate the creativity of Indian architects who are doing amazing projects, and here, luckily, the dream come true, and they can do a lot of very interesting shape, and they can explore different design in their coming projects.
So any one monument or any one historical building that you admire a lot?
My office is in Delhi, so I know better Delhi than Mumbai. I really enjoy to go to Humayun's tombs, and which is also the region of the architecture of the Taj Mahal. It has been inspired by that Humayun's tomb, Taj Mahal. So I really like the park, the Mughal park, very quiet, very simple. It's really beautiful. But I also enjoy being in a crowd of Mumbai, surrounded with amazing building, having some jali coming up to the 25th floor, and it's the contradiction is very interesting.
So being Indians, we are really happy to hear that from you, and we are really grateful to you for admiring our architecture, our monuments.
That's really sincere. It's really awesome. That's why I'm happy also to come all the time and very often in India. I feel like I'm very enthusiastic every time.
That was quite a startling revelation, and definitely. So what do you like, butter chicken or something in vegetarian food?
I would prefer butter chicken, but I should take care a little bit of that.
Okay, so that was just off the track. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you, Pooja. Thanks a lot.
And thank you so much for giving a lot of information regarding the French architecture and giving us your precious time.
Hope you will come the day of the inauguration of our Kanakia Paris project.
Sure, definitely. So that we can meet up again.
Exactly, with pleasure.
Okay, thank you so much again.
Thank you.
So this was Mr. Olivier Vecchierini, Principal Architect of No Design, who updated us and gave us a lot of interesting information about the French architecture. For more information on architecture and real estate as a whole, keep watching Spin TV. Goodbye, take care.